It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to be taking a look at this advertisement for Grimslingers here, Grimslingers Duels. Did I say advertisement? I meant two-player only introductory pack, which is going to show you how to play the game at its most basic with just two players. The game is set in this strange forgotten West setting in which characters are imbued with this power and they can sling spells based on the elements. You are going to be using these spells using your little robotic helper to spend energy, fling your spells at your opponent, take them out. Once you've reduced them to zero life, then you are going to win the duel. Let me show you how this works. Then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I think of this, how it fits into this as well. Here we go. Here's everything that comes in the box. You have your characters, their tracker for health. You got a couple of characters you won't use actually. You have this other one over here, the little robot helpers, which are called animas or something like that. Their little tracker for EPs or energy points. Each player gets a deck of 6 spells, which are all element based, of course. And then you have this deck of basically poker cards, or well, in this case they're used for blackjack actually. 1 through 5 twice, 2 5s, 2 4s, etc. All right. And then you have these cards for the colors of the players, which in fact are not used if you just own this box. All of these cards are not used in this game. Go buy the whole thing, everybody. All right. So we're just going to set these aside. They give you, in this box, you're going to get 2 new colors, which are not available in the base game. And so they need to give you the entire deck for those new 2 colors. And then for every color that was in the base game, you get, well, the 2 new colors you can target now because they're included in here. All right, so I'm just going to set all this aside, and I'm going to show you how the game works. Very simple. On your turn, you are going to go through a few different steps, and the steps are, the first thing you can do is you can trigger one of the little actions on your little robot there, which are reload. You can purge in order to basically earn more EP by discarding cards, or spend EP to get cards back into your hand, okay? You can also flip the card over and do the surge ability, which lets you, if you connect with your opponent and hit them, do a little more damage. Then you're going to pick a card. Let me get these out of here. You don't need to see those, though that's very cool. You're going to pick a card from your hand, all right? And these are all, like I said, spells, and they work in a rock, paper, scissors sort of fashion. They come in 2 spheres. So, for example, wind here says my target, which would be my opponent in this case, takes 1 damage, and they must randomly deactivate 3 active cards, means put 3 cards aside until next round. Wind, it says right there below the name, beats fire, and ice beats wind. And so if my opponent now would play a card again, and I would play a card, if they reveal wind and I reveal ice, well, then ice beats wind, meaning their wind goes away, and I get the power of ice here, which is my target takes 2 DMG, which is damage, and must deduct 2 EP, which is energy points. So I would take 2 there, take 2 there, all right? And then this is set aside, and I can later buy it back again with my own EP. However, there are 6 cards here, and rock, paper, scissors only has 3 things in it. And so, for example, if my opponent plays lightning, let's say, and I play wind, well, then in that case, lightning and wind do not interact. They are not on each other's sphere of influence. And so then we have to go here, and we have to play this modified game of blackjack in which we each flip over a card. Whoever flipped the highest gets to decide first if they want to push or hold. Pushing means flipping another card. Holding means I'm going to stay put. And you want to hit 11 without going over and be higher than your opponent. Okay, so I'm at 4. I will hit. That's 7. They'll hit. They're at, excuse me, they're at 4. So I'm okay to hold for now because the round won't be over unless we both hold in order, and then it's over. So I'm winning anyway. I will hold. They will hit again. They're at 6. I'm still holding. They'll hit again. They are now at 8. And so it comes back to me, and I can now hold or hit. No 5s have come out. I know that. So out of these 4 cards, there are 2 5s in there. If I go over 11, that's bad. I would rather lose than go over 11, because if I bust, which they call exhaust or something like that, then I'm going to take the damage on their card doubled. And this is lightning, which says target takes 3 damage. I'm going to stop. I do not want to bust. I don't want to take 6. And so they would win, and my card gets discarded, and theirs goes off. We shuffle all this up, set it aside again for our next fight that is, that cannot be solved by the regular rock, paper, scissors rules. That's basically it. You're going to continue doing this until someone's health is completely gone. Game's over. That person is the winner of the game. All right, so before I launch into what I think of this little box, I do want to mention that I've done a full standalone review of the big box here. So if you want to see everything else that is in this cool universe, go check that out. There's a lot more characters. There is dueling with more than 2 players. And there's a whole other mode in this box that is cooperative and kind of story-driven. So check that out, all right? But back to Grimslingers Duels here, the 2-player only part. This kind of feels like just a taste of the buffet that is Grimslingers. Unfortunately, it's the week-old meatloaf part of that buffet. Grimslingers Duels shows, in my opinion, the least interesting part of anything that Grimslingers did. The 2-player only vanilla mode of playing, meaning no special powers for the characters, no funky spells that you add to your 6 basic ones, no items that get mixed into your hand and also do weird and wacky stuff. This is just rock, paper, scissors with a little more going on top of it, okay? And so you are going to be having to resort to these the little blackjack style of tiebreaker there a lot. And I like that part, actually. This is one of my favorite things that they came up with in this game. It's really interesting, it's flavorful, it's thematic, right? Just not every round, and it could happen that you do it more often than not, because I play a card that's not in the sphere you played, and we have to do it. The cards don't have a resolution speed, or rather they do, but they're all 9 in this game. Not true in this game, because some of those funky special spells go earlier, go later than 9, okay? And so what they're highlighting here is just not very interesting unless you adore rock, paper, scissors, okay? But at its core, this is rock, paper, scissors. And I find it to be, I'm not sure how they could have done this better, but I understand that this is a good advertisement for the big game. That's what they're going for, okay? It's almost like they're doing themselves a disservice by highlighting this part of the game. I almost wish they would have included like a little story or something, where you get to fight a monster or something, which is from the co-op side of the original game. Because I think the Duels half of Grimslingers is the weaker half, And when you play vanilla here with just the basic stuff, you're compounding the problem. So I'm not a big fan of this. The one thing this does, the one way it can be treated most effectively, I think, is seen as an expansion to this. Now, let me tackle that, because I think even the company's kind of hoping you're going to do that, right? They give you 2 new colors in here for 2 new players. And they give you the other cards that you need for the other players to have those colors. They give you characters which are not in the original game. These are not in the original game. So if you want them all, if you want the funky llama there, you're going to need this. However, the original game was at its best in dueling mode at 3 players, 4 players. You could play 2-on-2, in fact. At 6 players, which was the maximum you could play, it was a mess. You could do any old thing. you could just pick a player and randomly smack them around, and so just, the hits were just sort of flying. It was chaos. And this adds 2 players to that, which I think is insanity. And so the only reason I could see you getting this to add it to the original game is you really like the artwork, or you really happen to like those 2 new colors, the orange and the whatever the other one is. And so for me, this is a pass. This is clearly cheaper than this. And so if you must try this out a little bit to figure out if you want to get the big game, then yeah, maybe. But go check out my review for this. And if you're still interested, if you're intrigued by this, if you want to check this out, just skip this and go directly to Grimslingers, okay? It's not that much more money, and you are getting a ton more gameplay in here. And then, if you are so enamored by it that you need more characters, need more colors, then you can get Grimslingers Duels, which I think ultimately is why I think this fails as a product, because I don't think it's a good introductory version of Grimslingers. I think it highlights the wrong things. No one wants to play this game vanilla after they've played once. So having no special spells in here, it's going to get boring soon. They should have not included 2 new colors of cards. And with all of those cards, which again are significant, with that many cards, they could have given us some of the cool special things you get in the full game and really give people a taste of what they're going to game. Then it's a product that I would recommend you try first and then jump on board the big one, As it is, this is a pass for me. Again, go check this out. If you like it, pick this up. You will not need Grimslingers Duels.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.